this Saturday. I don't even know that right now. I think 8th or the 9th or something like that. Tomorrow I'm gonna go with Fred to mail my letters to my friends, and I'll do with that. I'm gonna try something. See if she could do it. Give it to Shandy for me. Because I'm not able to do it. I'm just trying to organizing here a bit. Be right back.
The community. I found myself at rock bottom, but I knew I hadn't participated in that crime, and I knew that, and I knew God knew that, and I just made a decision that I wasn't going to quit, and I wasn't going to leave. I had nothing to run from. Identify these men? A prostitute told police that some local drug dealers may have killed someone in her basement. But police could find no evidence of violence in the home. The only clue investigators found was a piece of used chewing gum. Scientists wondered whether it would help solve the mystery. Easton, Pennsylvania is the first city you come to when driving from New York City on the new interstate highway, Route 78. By day, Easton proudly displays its picturesque downtown and colonial-era architecture. But by night, drug dealers stroll the streets since they can make more money than in New York City.
They can do better here. Less competition, maybe not as a violent scene as in New York and New Jersey. And so it's been a magnet and easy access.
And with the drug traffic has come an increase in violence. On August 5th, 1996, a prostitute, Kathy Segusti, ran to her neighbor's home saying she'd been stabbed in the arm by two local drug dealers.
Kathy Segusti, she was known to us from some prostitution arrests, and one of our other local PDs had also had her on some credit card matters. She was basically a crack cocaine addict who was doing prostitution and petty crimes to support her habit.
Segusti identified her attackers as 19-year-old Corey Mayweather and 20-year-old Kwame Henry. Zagusky said they had been doing drugs together, and she was stabbed in the arm after a minor dispute. And during her interview, Zagusky reluctantly told police another story about an incident that happened in her home just 1 week earlier. She said these same two drug dealers, Corey Mayweather and Kwame Henry, along with a third man, Stanley Obos, came to her home with a 19-year-old woman, Mataron Smith. Smith was a drug runner whom the men suspected of stealing $2,000 worth of cocaine. After they took Smith to the basement, Zagusky heard Smith cry. Zagusky admitted she was using drugs at the time and never saw what happened, but she believed that Smith had been murdered. She said the three men later carried a large box from her basement.
As we canvassed the neighborhood, we wound up finding some people at a local business. Some secretaries were looking out the window and they saw three black males carrying a large heavy box and really struggling with it.
But police were suspicious for a number of reasons. First, they could find no traces of blood or evidence of violence in Kathy Zagusky's basement. And second, they could find no record of any 19-year-old woman by the name of Mataron Smith. When police arrested Corey Mayweather for the stabbing of Kathy Zagusky, he denied any knowledge of Mataron Smith or her whereabouts. Without a body or any corroborating forensic evidence, all police had to go on were the suspicions of an admitted drug user.
The magic returns with new daunting challenges
Let's go.
and the most enchanting sweets.
I can't wait to see what's next.
All new Harry Potter Wizards of Baking tomorrow night at 8 on Food Network.
Everything is better with Delectables Lickable Treat Gravy. Those real meat shreds and a savory sauce. Whoa, hold on, Mama. Where you going with that Delectables Gravy? Delectables Lickable Treat.
Deliciously delectable delectables.
When you don't use Bounce, dryer heat can be a real monster. It turns clothes into static magnets for your hair. Use Bounce to stop it. If you want static-resistant clothes.
When I found out I had diabetes, it felt like a door slamming shut on my dreams. I wish I could tell myself what I know now. That with help from Dexcom G7, I'd take control of my diabetes and do more than I ever dreamed possible. That first half was embarrassing, just like my ED used to be. We need to bounce back, like I did. When I went to Rougier.com, I learned about these meds that boost blood flow below your line of scrimmage, and it supports these arousal signals in my brain. I'm talking brain and body. I want you to go out there. I want you to just play hard. Put your hands in.
I'm Lori. I've been a Dave member for 3 years. Dave definitely helps me catch up on bills with up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. I love that I can go skating. I can take the kids to the movies. Getting started is easy. Just link your bank, open an extra cash account, choose your amount, and get money. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. At the end of the day, you do not have to stop living. That's why I like Dave. It's good for my wallet and good for my mind.
I got to. It's time to screen for colon cancer. Also, I'm just on the porch.
Cologuard is for people 45 plus at average risk, not high risk.
False positive and negative results may occur. Ask your provider or request Cologuard online.
Oh my god, I won. Guys, I just saw someone win an iPad for under $10.
I got this amazing Japanese knife set for just 75 cents. I got this KitchenAid stand mixer for only $56.
There's millions of fast auctions and always something to win on DealDash.com. And today, new users get a $50 bonus credit. Go to DealDash.com right now and see how much you'll save.
And shipping is always free.
Guys, how frustrating
frustrating is it to find a great pair of jeans? Too tight here, too loose there, too long there? Standard jeans use just 2 measurements, and Taylor Custom Jeans use 7 different measurements to give you the perfect fit. Your phone can measure you right now. Download the M Taylor app on iOS or Android. Choose from hundreds of styles. M Taylor measures you digitally and is 20% more accurate than a professional tailor. With free shipping and a money-back guarantee, get your new favorite pair of jeans today. M Taylor, available on the Apple App Store or Android.
All of the kids from my town disappeared into the dark. And do you know why? I'm gonna tell you now.
2 weeks had passed since Kathy Sagusty told police about the 19-year-old woman, Mataron Smith, whom she suspected was murdered in her basement. In a cemetery near Sagusty's home, a worker noticed an unusual smell coming from a burial vault. Burial vaults had once been used to store bodies during the winter months when the ground was too hard and cold to dig the graves. But this burial vault had long since been abandoned. Inside, the man made a gruesome discovery. Underneath some newspapers was the partially clothed, badly decomposed body of a black female. Coroner Zachary Lysek was called to the scene.
It was very cool and damp inside the dead house at the time. There was a very foul odor of decomposition. There was thousands of flies flying around and several thousand maggots that were crawling over the floor and over the body.
One hand was wrapped with twine, an apparent restraining device. The victim's pants were down around her ankles. She was about 5'2" and approximately 110 pounds. The newspapers that covered the body were many weeks old and were no help in identifying the time of death. The vault had been bolted from the outside, which provided some important information about the possible cause of death.
She could not have put herself in the dead house and then put a bolt on the outside of the door. So we knew that she had to have been placed there by someone else.
The manner of death was a homicidal violence, and she certainly didn't die from an accident or natural causes. It was some act of homicide, but we could not say whether her throat was cut because the throat area had been eaten away by maggot infestation, and there was no way to give an opinion. We couldn't say whether she was stabbed. We couldn't say whether she was strangled.
Police assumed the body was that of Mataron Smith. The 19-year-old drug runner Kathy Sagusty suspected had been murdered in her house. But forensic tests quickly dispelled that notion. This victim was much younger than 19 years old. An analysis of her teeth indicated she was in early puberty.
I believe she was 13. We were able to tell from the level of eruption of certain teeth that, that was consistent with somebody who might have been 13 at the time.
To find out when the victim died, scientists turned to the only evidence they had, the insects that were on the dead body.
Some of the species of flies will be found almost immediately after death, within a matter of seconds to a matter of a few minutes after death. They'll be laying eggs within the first 2 hours, 3 hours after death, given the adequate environmental conditions.
Dr. Haskell discovered that the larvae on the body were third stage. When he allowed some of these larvae to develop into full maturity, he discovered that the species was Phormia regina, otherwise known as the black blowfly, a species common in rural areas during the summer. If Dr. Haskell could determine how long the larvae had been on the body, he would know when the victim died. But temperature and weather conditions can affect insect development and must be taken into account.
If we have temperatures in the 80s or 90s or pushing 100, those maggots will grow and develop very, very fast. So it is critical to have the weather information to evaluate, to see whether that growth and development is slow, medium, or fast.
Dr. Haskell researched local temperatures in the weeks and months preceding discovery of the body. He also needed to calculate the difference between the outside temperatures and those inside the vault, which were much cooler. So he took temperature readings inside the vault and correlated them with the outside temperatures. With these calculations, and knowing the larvae were in their third stage of development, Dr. Haskell estimated that blowflies deposited their eggs on the dead body between July 27th and the 29th. This was the same time Kathy Sagusty suspected the murder took place in her basement. But if the victim wasn't 19-year-old Mataron Smith, who was she?
Still dealing with moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease symptoms despite treatment? Put them in check with Rinvoq. Rinvoq works differently, and it's a once daily pill.
When symptoms try to take control, I got rapid relief with Rinvoq. Check.
Rinvoq helped visibly repair my intestinal lining. Check.
I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
Rapid symptom relief. Visible repair of the intestinal lining.
And lasting steroid-free remission. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin. Serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events, infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection. Put UC and Crohn's in check and keep them there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how Epi can help you save.
A Chewy order is on the way for Hunter, who finds anything he puts his nose to. This holiday, Mom uses Chewy to save up to 40% on gifts that Hunter loves hunting down. For low prices, for holidays with pets, there's Chewy.
At the end of every day, my family creates this much food waste. And the last thing I want to do is deal with the smelly, heavy garbage bags. That's why I love Lomi. Instead of throwing food scraps in the trash, I simply put them in here. In as little as 3 hours, Lomi transforms our food waste into beautiful, nutrient-rich fertilizer. No more smelly garbage, no more fruit flies, no more heavy bags to the curb. Get rid of the stress and the mess with the Lomi Smart Waste System today. Available at Costco and Lomi.com.
We got this. I don't got this. Hiding depression is exhausting.
Mom!
It's more than just sadness. My doctor told me it's multiple symptoms. Depression can mean you don't enjoy the things you used to love. You can't focus, feel guilty when you shouldn't. You don't have energy to do anything. It's time for a different approach. My doctor told me about Trintellix, a prescription medicine for adults with depression. It's been proven to treat the overall symptoms of depression.
Trintellix increases the risk of suicidal thoughts and actions in people 24 and younger. Call a doctor right away if you have these or new or worsening depression, or new or sudden changes in mood, behavior, thoughts, or feelings. Trintellix is not for use in children. Do not take with MAOIs. Tell your doctor about all medicines you take to avoid a life-threatening condition. Increased risk of bleeding may occur, especially if taken with aspirin, NSAID, pain relievers, or blood thinners. Manic episodes, eye problems, low sodium levels, and sexual problems can occur. Suddenly stopping Trintellix may cause serious side effects. Common side effects include nausea, constipation, and vomiting.
I'm going to talk to my doctor again about Trintellix.
Ready when you are. Ask your doctor if Trintellix could be right for you.
A helping hand. We show up with the whole darn arm. With their muscle, they'll roll them up. With dollars saved and jobs done well. We show up with the whole darn arm. Arm & Hammer. More power to you.
Loggers are the backbone of America. But why walk where others won't? Because it's in their blood. The Last Woodsman. New season. Premieres Friday at 9 on Discovery.
'Tis the season when Food Network stars try to take down Bobby Flay.
You guys are already against me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Where's the holiday spirit?
Yeah, Bobby, come on.
Season premiere, Beat Bobby Flay, Holiday Throwdown, Tuesday night at 8.
When police discovered the decomposed body of a young woman in a deserted cemetery vault, they had few clues to her identity. An analysis of the victim's teeth revealed she was just 13 years old. Police conducted a nationwide computer search on all missing 13-year-old black females who were 5'2" and 110 pounds. The name, Richeza Williams, was one of the matches. Richeza Williams was a runaway from a middle-class family in Long Island, New York, and was reported missing by her family a few weeks earlier. When her dental records were compared to the teeth of the victim, there were similarities.
It was a difficult situation, but fortunately, she had some chipping of her upper front teeth. And we noticed that when we examined the remains, that there was also chipping on the upper front teeth, and they matched up remarkably well. And a conclusion was, within a high degree of dental certainty, that that individual was Richeza Williams.
Just here for some follow-up questions about her today.
When Kathy Sagusty was shown the photograph of Richeza Williams, she confirmed that she was the woman she knew as 19-year-old Mataron Smith. Williams had changed her age and identity after she ran away from home. For Sandra Taylor, Richeza's teacher and Girl Scout leader, news of her death came as a shock.
I had no idea that she would eventually go somewhere and pose to be 19 instead of 13. Richeza was an exceptionally beautiful young girl, friendly to everybody, people she knew, people she didn't know.
After Richeza finished grade school, she didn't attend middle school regularly. Her father died. Richeza started to rebel and became a discipline problem.
I had a conversation with Richeza myself, and I told her, you must go to school, and if she did not, I was going to have her move in with me, and I would see that she went there.
Instead, Richeza Williams got involved running drugs between New York and Pennsylvania, which is how she met Corey Mayweather, Kwame Henry, and Stanley Obas. Kathy Sagusty said that Mayweather and Henry accused Richeza of stealing some cocaine, and that Stanley Obas prevented Sagusty from going downstairs. Over the next several hours, Mayweather and Henry took several items from the kitchen before returning to the basement.
Miss Sagusty could not tell us what happened down there, but she did hear sounds of crying from Richeza. Don't do this to me, you know. She heard sort of like slapping around, and that this young girl was pleading with them to stop.
A search of Sagusty's home corroborated parts of her story. Several kitchen utensils tested positive for human enzymes, leading to speculation that they were used as implements of torture. Hairs consistent with Richeza Williams were also found in the basement.
Well, the case was a circumstantial evidence case, really, from the outset. Although we had Kathleen...
We had a fire drill this morning.
That she saw Richeza Williams in her home about this time frame.
My manager came and... there's my... did the fire drill.
With no forensic evidence connecting the three men to Richeza Williams' murder, police returned to the cemetery vault a few weeks after the body was discovered. With screens, they sifted through
We
all
still
the
don't
debris
have
on the
snow
floor of the
here.
vault. They found something unusual. A used piece of chewing gum.
It had been there probably for 10 days or so, maybe even 15 days before we found it. So when we found it, it was hard as a rock and wound up being very well preserved.
The gum was red and about 1.5 inches long. It was completely dried out and appeared to have the imprint of teeth marks. There was more news for investigators. Corey Mayweather had more than just a drug habit. He had a habit of constantly chewing Big Red brand gum and carried packs of it wherever he went. Police also remembered he was chewing Big Red gum when they questioned him about Richeza Williams' murder. The question now was whether it would work as evidence.